Okay, so let's just go through just kind of the basics of percentage, finding the percent. I'm going to use more of the decimal approach. Proportional reasoning, we'll be getting to that a little bit later this year, and that's when we'll take a closer look at that. So this is more of the setup when you have a calculator, not much time, and this is the fastest way. Kroger's got a special 40% off of steak, $7.99 per pound. How much can you save per pound? So if I could just figure out what 40% of $7.99 is, here's your answer. It'd be right there. It'd be perfect. So what do? You take your percent, you turn it into a decimal. Of would be referring to the fact you need to multiply it, and then you just times it by your total, $7.99. Suddenly this comes up on your calculator and you round it to the nearest cent. So in this case it would be $3.20. That's how much you can save, because that's what 40% of 799 is. So this answer you're getting would actually answer this question of what is 40%. And since that's what you're saving, and that's what they're wanting to know what you saved, that is the final answer. Now, let's just say you go lawnmower shopping, and it's 999 bucks. They're offering you 25% off. How much can you save? So it's this idea of what is 25% of $999. So how can I find out what is 25%? Take your percent, turn it into a decimal, multiply it by the total, which is money. And basically it means we would take off $249.75 off that price. So we'd be saving quite a bit. Number 3, let's just say Molly was looking for a pair of jeans. She's going to be able to get 30% off of the regular sale price of $80. So again, we take our percent, turn it into a decimal, multiply it by our total, and 0.30 times 80 is $24. So, and I keep forgetting to put the dollar sign there because I'm in a hurry. Shouldn't do that. We're going to save $24 off of that. Now that's how much you save. If I said how much did Molly pay, well, $80 was the original price. We're going to save 24 bucks. So she's only going to have to pay $56 for the pants. So just please remember, or the jeans, please remember though, it just depends on what the question's asking. Does it want to know what you're saving, or does it want to know what you're spending? Here's a chart right here, and let's just kind of cover it up a little bit. The original price is $120, and they're going to save 25%. So this right here is what is the percent saved. Okay, so that's basically the question. Well, let's see, 25% as a decimal. So use 25% as a decimal is 0.25. And what's our total? It's $120. So we're going to multiply it. And this was the same type of answer we were getting. We would say, hey, you're going to save $30. But they want to know the sales price. Well, if we take this $30 off of the original $120, 120 minus 30, see right here in this column, I took this price and the answer I made and just subtracted them, we got $90. So our sales price was $90. So for a DVD, if we're saving 10%, you have to ask yourself, what is 10% of $19.99? So 0.1 or 0.10 times 19.99 actually gets you $1.99. And if we say what was our original price, it was $19.99. Okay, subtract the $1.99, and instead of writing it in this column, I'm just going to write it over here for sale price. It would become $18. Same thing for the jacket. Um, what is 15% of $150? Well, let's see here. 0.15 times 150 would be 22.50. So $150 minus 22.50, and because it's little here, it's hard to get these dollar signs in here. Um, be $127.50. Number 7, let's just say you had a car. It's a large number, $16,900, and we saved 6% of it. So how would we figure that out? 6% is a decimal, 0.6 times 16,900 gets us $1,014. So 16,900 minus $1,014, it's $15,886. And number 8, let's just say you have a laptop and you're getting 20% off. So 20% times the total cost of 800. What is 20% of 800? It would be $160. So since we're saving $160, we would be getting it at, let's see, let me double check it, $640. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anything under there now. So let's move on to some more problems. Here we go. A boulder has 2% of iron ore in it, and we want to know if this whole boulder weighs 6,700 pounds, how many pounds of iron ore in it? So 0.02 times 6,700 is 134 pounds of iron ore in that boulder. And then number 10, this one's a little bit different. Mary made $4 an hour plus 4% commission on the total amount of sales she made for a newspaper. She works 50 hours and she sold a total of $3,600 worth of ads. How much money did Mary earn? Let's just say totally earned her total money. So let's work on our commission. What is 4% of $3,600? We would figure that out by 0.04, multiply it by 3,600, and that would be $144. But she also works at $4 per hour, and she worked for a total of 50 hours, and 4 times 50 is $200. So we add up our commission profit with our hourly wages, and that would be a total of $344 total. Okay, so it's not that bad. You just keep it separate. You keep the hours and the hourly wage together, and then you keep your commission percentage with the amount of sales they had to figure out how much your commission amount was, and then add them together. Couple of review things. How do you take any percent and turn it into a decimal? You move it 2 to the left. Always 2 to the left. Move that decimal 2 to the left. And that's how we would do that. When we convert any decimal to a percent, we just go 2 to the right. So 1.5 equals 150%. 9 would actually have to make room for 2 zeros to make it 900%. 0.45 would become 45%. How do we convert each percent to a fraction? You take the percentage and put it over 100, and then you can simplify it. So 22% goes to 2200, simplifies down to 11/50th. Same thing here. This one, 140% sitting over 100. How many times can 100 go into 140? Once, with 40 left over, and we keep the same denominator. Okay, so 1 and 41/100ths, and then we just simplify 41/100ths to 2/5, so it's 1 and 2/5. Now, let's get back to this real quick. Talia got 9% of a discount for a car that originally cost $18,000. So we don't know how much she paid. We just know originally before the discount it was 18 grand. So we've got to figure out what is 9% of 18,000. Very, very easy, especially if you're allowed to have a calculator. $1,620 saved. Because again, I wanted to know how much did she save. So she saved 9%. And what is 9% of 18 grand? 1,620. If it wanted to know how much she paid, we would subtract this from 18,000, and that would be the amount she paid. Now, a really good bakery right down the street from my house named Dave's Bakery sold 80% of 500 donuts. How many donuts did they sell? Well, 80% as a decimal is 0.80. Times it by 500, and we get 400 donuts sold. What's 80% of 500? It's 400. Now, how can we figure out how many donuts they did not sell today? Well, 500 minus the 400 they sold would be 100 donuts not sold. But I'm really trying to push you to see that you could also go, well, if they sold 80% of them, that means that 20% of 500 they didn't sell, and 20% as a decimal is 0.20 or 0.2. And if you multiply that by 500, you'll find out that you'll still get the same 100. I really like it when you can find multiple ways to solve the same problem, because you never know which angle you might need to attack these problems from. Now, number 15, this one's totally different. It's a percent decrease. And you know what, actually, let me just back this up. I'll make a separate video. This one's going to be 12 minutes long. So let me just draw this to a close. And if you're wanting to see about the percent decrease, just look back onto my webpage and you'll be able to find the link.